presentation of mine entitled The Impact of Animal Husbandry on the Indian Economy, the characteristics and prospects, and also the future, especially the contribution. Coming to the introduction of this particular thing, the livestock sector significantly contributes to the Indian economy in a long-term viability of the economy of the Indian farmers. And then the animal husbandry is the practice that is deeply embedded in the Indian rural system as well as the cultural and economic fabric of the Indian civilization. So it is widely recognized as the crucial element, especially enhancing the socio-economic status of the rural as well as the rural woman as well as the youth itself, especially through the income throughout the entire year. That's one of the important thing when compared to the agriculture is concerned. It's a seasonal, whereas the animal husbandry, the activities are done throughout the year. And also the Indian animal husbandry sector offers unique career prospects of the individuals, including the youth, with entrepreneurial aspirations. Especially currently the India holds the top position in leading global producer of the milk, being the number one in the entire world. The milk animals serve as the consistent and reliable source of the revenue for the livestock producers throughout the sale of the milk and value-added products throughout the year. And it's a consistent source of the economy to the Indian poor farmer, and it is a mobile asset also to its capacity to liquidate in times of emergency. For example, if a farmer sells a sheep and goat, then immediately can sell that particular sheep and goat and also the cattle and get the immediate benefit of the economical value of that particular thing. And in this scenario, the rising demand of the livestock product, especially the egg, meat, milk, etc., presents the employment prospects of the woman and also to the Indian youth. The practice of raising diverse range of the animals, including the nowadays it is the yaks are also added, camels, mithun, in addition to the regular husbandry practices like rearing the cattle, sheep, goat, pigs, and also the poultry. And they contribute to a great to the Indian economy. The Indian animal husbandry is contributing to the GDP also to the extent of 17%. The sector has obstacles such as, of course, it has not divided up the obstacles and also the difficult situation like the technological underdevelopment and also the budgetary limitations. A lot of budgetary limitations are there, and insufficient veterinary service is also there, which impaired the advancement. Of course, in future, we will also the growth of Indian animal husbandry is to the extent of 7.9% in the year 2014-15, and it has significantly increased now to the 24.3 during the year 2020, and this greatly implies from the economic background of the poor farmers of the Indian. And with 11.6% of the global holdings, the livestock industry in this is India is the biggest contribution to the world, and sheep and goats are referred as the poor man's cow. Everyone knows. And the mobile ATMs, they are also said, and bank on hooves or the cloven foot, since they can live off the fewest resources. About 70% of the rural residents are totally depending on the, especially the marginal farmers, poor farmers, landless laborers. About 40 million people of India are relying on the animal husbandry, as they do not have much what you call as the money, etc., to invest in case of the industry. And there is a steady stream income to the Indian farmers. This lessens the seasonality of the livelihood patterns, especially for the Indian rural poor. 40 million people are depending on the economy of India is relying on the rural animal husbandry practices. There are the generation of the income and employment. The Indian animal husbandry has got a greater contribution. So with the livestock sector, which has maintained a consistent growth rate of approximately 4 to 5%. Every year it grows, and it's up to the 24% of the Indian economy, and sustainable livelihood of the poor is maintained around 5.5% of the Indian nation's workforce. Nowadays, there is a very great unemployment, whereas the 5.5% of the workforce worked in the animal husbandry industry, even with the illiterate farmers, can also grow. And about 5.8% of the jobs are in the both maybe in animal husbandry and also in the fisheries sector. And socio-economic and security of the employment of the woman totally depend upon the animal husbandry, especially the poor farmers and the farming women. 20.5 million women, especially in India, rely on livestock of their, especially the livelihood. And Indian animal husbandry activities like feeding, especially the feeding cows, breeding, managing, and taking care of the health of the animals are handled by rural women, and indirectly it contributes to the good health of the Indian women. They will get a very good exercise and mental care. And opportunities for women's empowerment are created by quickly growing market of the livestock goods, especially the milk, meat, the ice creams, and the chocolates, and many more animal husbandry related products in the India is concerned. Economy of the Indian farmers also depends on totally the animal husbandry. They are all allied subjects, especially in India is concerned. And the Indian women are empowered every day by selling the milk to the local society and get a consistent employment. At the same time, their livelihood is also increased. Contribution of the livestock sector to the national food security is also another important aspect, apart from contribution of the same to the Indian economy is concerned. So the livestock industry also contributing in terms of the milk, meat, and eggs, which are very high in proteins, and also the carbohydrates, and also multivitamins. So it directly contributes to the health status of India, which is not measured actually. Of course, a healthy person can contribute more than that of the unhealthy persons. So the milk, meat, and eggs are contributing to a great to the health and the diversity of the Indian, the especially health sector. In India, items from the livestock can make up as 25% of the food basket of a regular human being, especially in case of India. And these are all indirect contribution to the economy, whereas the direct contributions are in the form of the milk, meat, wool, and also the chicken, etc. So the livestock accounted 22% and 25% in the food basket in different areas and different states, etc. Non-vegetarians, vegetarians, etc. So the per capita availability of the milk is presently 394 grams per day, and eggs is 79 per year. So this has greatly contributed to the health sector, especially the women especially who used to get the osteal porosity after menopause, that has been drastically reduced as per a survey. And the livestock industry is crucial in making use of inedible agriculture byproducts, especially the farmyard manure. FYM means the dung which is produced by the cows are very good for the organic farming, and this is one of the backbone of the India's economy is concerned. All these are indirect contribution. Of course, the farmyard manure which is produced by the livestock is never considered in the economy of the India. And economic analysis of the integrated farming system, because the farmers rear the poultry and at the same time the cows and also the sheep, goat, and also the fish, etc. So this is a very good for recycling natural sources. The integrated agriculture system increases profitability, and also the byproducts of the animal husbandry can efficiently be used for increasing the farmers' income. And the Indian farming system or integrated farming system lowers overall farm expenses to the greater extent, and also the farm integration can encompass two or more farming activities in a same ground, and thus the cost saving is also there. The farmyard manure is also the source of the organic farmer. The livestock sector, of course, it is facing a lot of challenges. It is not devoid of the difficulties, which is also faced by other areas like the industries, etc., which also do have a lot of constraints. And there is a increasing farm animal output is one of the main sources. The cattle feeding cost of the animal is being increased day by day. The medicine costs are increasing, and the diseases like foot and mouth, black water, and also recently the lumpy skin disease, which is contributing it to a great to the loss of the animal husbandry sector in India. And of course, a lot of measurements are being taken to control that particular disease with proper vaccination and healthcare measurements by the state and the central government. That's what the LSD outbreak. And another thing is a lack of high quality germplasm is also there in India, and we are rearing the HF grasses, Jersey cattle, and we do not have our own high yielding milk cow. Of course, the desi cows are there, but they are not adequate to produce the high demand of the milk and the milk byproducts. So another thing is the technical manpower is also lacking. Inadequate infrastructure is also there, and the farmers' inability to access markets. So the farmer is a poor person and he can never control the market, and could discourage them from implementing better technology and high quality inputs. That's what's also another constraint. And low price to the animal husbandry products, that's also another thing. The farmer cannot sell the milk as per the cost benefit, because he has to depend upon the local milk societies, which give very low value, because they have to see the interest of the farmers at the same time the consumers also. Hence, these are all certain constraints, and there are sometimes it is highly unorganized, especially the sheep and goat. There is no organized market for the products like the mutton and the wool also. Of course, some efforts are being done by both central and state governments. Still, the market is not stable. And whatever the future needs and prospects are, the cattle industry supports both the national economy. It's undoubtedly credits to the national economy to the extent of 17% of the GDP out of the agriculture contribution, and also the socio-economic development of the rural India. The women will be empowered. The rural illiterate youth are also empowered. Livestock is already providing a variety of the employment option, especially the vital source of the Indian farmers, because most of the farmers, about 70% of the farmers, stay in the rural area. And also the lack of higher quality germplasm, already we know that that is required. And apart from this one, the Indian livestock industry is contributing value addition, like many products of the milk, meat, and the hide, skin, etc. are there, and export variations are also there in the livestock products. Maybe many of the countries, of course, still we need to have the challenge of the residues of some antibiotics and toxins, especially for exporting. And in conclusion, India is presently the number one world in milk production, and this record cannot be broken in future. Also, of course, the China is the another country which is coming up very fastly, and about 45 million of Indian farmers do only survive on animal husbandry. The marginal farmers and landless laborers do survive on the animal husbandry. The livestock sector is fastly growing when compared to the other industry, and contributing a lot to the Indian economy is concerned. But of course, it has got certain obstacles like technological underdevelopment, budgetary limitations, and certain myths, and also the blind beliefs, especially in. And in spite of all these lacunas, still it is having a lot of hopes and ambitions in the growth of Indian economy to make it the largest economy of the world. Of course, now it is in the sixth position. We are going to come to the third position as early as possible. And with this, I am going to complete my presentation. Thank you for everyone for patience hearing.